Hello and welcome back to the Backlog, and today we'll be taking a look back at what... where I'll be giving a general overview of what... So in no particular order, let's take a look at what... Alright, no more title cards. We're done. It's okay. I'm currently a little bit into the game, and while I need to get back around to playing, it hasn't necessarily captured my enjoyment yet, like other games in the series. I don't have many complaints, but the ones I do have just kind of boil down to the general speed of the game. To start, the paddles have this sluggish feel that I don't really find in any of the other games. Issues like the battle animations taking too long, and details like the game just deciding to pause when you choose a move sometimes. It's okay, buddy, I'm right here. Just take all the time you need. I mean, compare it with almost any other Pokemon game, and it just feels more snappy and gets right to the point. In this game, it just feels like my console needs a week's notice before I can use Water Gun. Nothing I choose feels instantaneous, and it makes the overall experience feel more restrained. And nowhere is that more apparent than in the exploration. In games where I can roam around to my heart's content, I think the most important factor is being able to quickly get around. Take Breath of the Wild, for example. You can run, jump, climb, swim, all on your own. Pokemon, however, is very well known for needing HMs to traverse its world, which I normally like. It gives the player incentive to backtrack and put the world together like a puzzle. In this game, I understand not being able to swim and climb immediately, as those abilities will likely come later. But why can't I go up 2 feet to get over this rock that, to this point, I was able to jump up easily? So now I have to go back down and around just to get where I want to go, all while running at the pace of a 90-year-old woman with bones that grind together like sandpaper. That being said, I do think the free roam catching is really fun. This is probably the only time I've ever been compelled to complete a Pokedex, and it's something I think ZA also does very well. It's a really solid game. I'm still just working on it though. Full disclosure, this is a pretty light replay. I beat the game back in 2020 when it originally came out, and it came out again for the Switch 2, so I figured why not and picked it up. I think this is what relapsing feels like. Originally, I was pretty skeptical about this port, but seeing how it runs and looks, man, it is everything I would have wanted from it. Gameplay-wise, everything is still great. I've always admired the game's more hack-and-slash direction with combat. It makes it feel much more of a ground-up remake rather than just remaking the original game in HD. Story-wise, I've always loved how this game expands the original Midgar prologue rather than just making a shorter remake of the original game. It allows for characters like Biggs, Wedge, and especially Jessie to feel much more like three-dimensional characters compared to the original. Also, for whatever reason, the characters in this game really like to moan. Not sure what that's about. Okay, I'm not sure when I'll be able to talk about this game again. Let's make it quick. Tetris 99 is one of the most fun online multiplayer games I have ever played, which totals like, what, 3 of them, so that's not saying much, but oh man, it's fun! Tetris already works really well in a 2-player competitive format, but couple that with 99 other players, daily objectives which give you currency to buy items to customize your game, you've got such an addicting and painfully simple competitive game right here. And even outside of the competitive format, this is probably the best controlling Tetris game I have ever played. Everything just feels so tight and snappy, and everything just plays how I want it to. I love this fucking game! Rhythm Heaven is always a joy to come back to, and for the first new game in almost a decade, it feels like we picked up right where we left off. Something I think I can always be confident in with this series is how much of a banger its soundtracks are. Every song being just as good as the last feels so amazing to follow along with. Where I find Rhythm Heaven Fever to be pretty brutal at times, this game feels like a direct follow-up to how that game plays, but manages to keep a good balance of being really hard, but still allowing me to have some casual fun. With the addition of new RPG campaign mode and so many new minigames, I think it serves as a wonderful entry in this already incredible series. Yumbot Simulator can kiss my ass! Dude, I've been playing for like 6 hours now. When does Matt Damon show up? It's almost been 9 years since I last played Mario Odyssey, so I wanted to see how much this game holds up. This game is so much better than what I used to give it credit for. Everything from the level design to how Mario controls just feels amazing to move around and explore. It's one of the most in-depth Mario games I have ever played. However, I think this game needs to require more from the player. Considering how easy it is to obtain moons in the game, each threshold is only about 10 or so for each kingdom. Most of the time, I would end up leaving with about double or even triple what it required just because of how fun it was to obtain them. But it still doesn't feel like I was able to explore super deep into the game, and then before you know it, the credits are rolling. It makes for a very fun, casual run-through, and parts like New Donk City Parade and the final run with Bowser are major highlights, but everything else feels like a blur. Splatoon Raiders is, to me, the fully realized version of Salmon Run from previous games. Somewhat akin to Call of Duty's Zombies mode, Splatoon Raiders expands on what the original idea was for Salmon Run, now all about fighting hordes of enemies, using your surroundings, and going online with a squad to tackle it all together. Something I commend this game for is the sheer amount of enemy and stage varieties that are at play. This requires the player to mess with more of the tools that are at their disposal and think about how they want this run to go. It keeps old stages you've already gone through feel fresh when you have to go back and collect more materials, and less like you have to keep grinding over and over again. As well as the fact that, over time, you unlock harder versions of these stages, which adds to them feeling fresher each and every time you go back. All of this makes for an insanely addicting gameplay loop and one of the best single-player campaigns the series has to offer. This is such a solid experience that I highly recommend checking out. This is just my game of the year. I know what you're thinking, right? You mean it's better than High Guard? Yeah, no shit. The developers at Undercoder have created one of the most in-depth skating racing games I have ever played. The clips I've seen of people racking up scores in the hundreds of thousands is astonishing, and learning to do so makes for an insanely rewarding experience, especially if you're going for gold in all ranks. This game gets my heart beating in a way nothing else has in a long time. The gameplay feels fast and flashy, the track designs are masterful, the character designs are gorgeous, and oh my god, the soundtrack. This is just one of my favorite OSTs ever. The main team of Andrew One, Sean Bailau, and T. Lopes did an incredible job, but the guest composers they were able to get is mind-boggling. Ryo Nagamatsu of Mario Kart Wii, Richard Jacques of Sonic R, and Shoji Meguro of Persona! And so many more. Together, I think everyone here has made not only a perfect OST, but a perfect video game.
And that was every game I played this month! Now, if you don't mind, I gotta get going. A pack of wild High Guard fans heard me say something about the game, and they're not too happy!
Tear that motherfucker to shreds!
That will bring your game back!